Country Club.
And I'm Rodney Cummins. It's another great event with TSI. Last time we did the greatest show.
That's right.
And now we're at the Kentucky Derby. So I'm looking forward to seeing some thoroughbreds and looking forward to a great event as always.
We're off to the races. Let's go.
Great day because it's for a great cause for Transitional Services for New York. You know us well. We want to thank everybody for coming, for Queens Public Television, for always supporting us. Thank you all for wearing hats and buying raffle tickets for the Derby race, which is going to be super fun. And also the raffles, the baskets, because all of this money goes to one of our programs. We have programs that really need support. So today you're helping everybody, most importantly our consumers who need us most. On that note, I'd like to introduce you to our CEO, Dr. Larry Grubler.
Something like this doesn't get put together by itself, so let's give a very big round of applause to Avi McCracken for putting this together. And introducing me to the Kentucky Derby and horse racing and all that stuff, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But I do want to thank the Jonathan and Nicole Constead Foundation for funding the entire luncheon, which is the first time I think that we've had that, so I want to just take a minute to introduce two of our board members who are here. You can just raise your hands. Carol Pacifico and Joel Meltzer are here. Our TSI Cares members, which help us raise funds for the agency. Tommy DeMisa, raise your hand. And when I dress like this, I told Tommy, I tell my wife, get me an outfit that I could look like Tommy. So that's what it's like. Ed Prost, Susan Presley. Just raise your hand if you're here. Peter Janowski, Sasha Soon, there we go. Marilyn Tipton, there we go. And Dina Falkus. There she is. Okay, great. So thank you. We also have Assemblyman Bronstein, who's going to come up and speak in a minute. We have Nancy Hernandez from the State Controller's Office, who's going to come up and speak for a second. And then we have representatives from David Weprin as well. So, but thank you all for attending today. Here's everything you need to know, and I did have to do the research because I knew nothing about the 150th iteration of the Kentucky Derby, known as, and I wasn't there at the original one, just so if you, just so it's time to grab your fanciest hat, which I think most of you got, get a mint julep, and gear up for the fastest 2 minutes racing in sports. It's 2 minutes. It's rapidly approaching. 20 of the world's fastest horses will gallop across the track at Churchill Downs for a chance to win a garland of roses, a record prize, and the title of the Kentucky Derby champion. Before the bugle blares and the top race gets underway, there's everything you need to know about the 2024 Kentucky Derby. Does everybody know about the Kentucky Derby? Like everything, all you're supposed to know about it? So it's just me that has to know about it. That's me. But let me just go over it for my own sake. The Kentucky Derby is an annual horse race. It's typically held the first week of May. The race is 1.25 miles, typically lasts about 2 minutes, and is the first leg of the horse racing's Triple Crown. It's amazing what you can find on Google. There are 14 races throughout the day. It's held at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. It holds about 150,000 people. The post time for the first Derby race is about 10:30 in the morning. There's a full slate of action, and the main event is at 6:57 p.m. So I'm helping you plan your Saturday. You can watch it on NBC. And that begins at 2:30. There's live coverage. There are 20 horses. They have really interesting names. I do have the list if you want to take a preview of them, so you can decide who you're going to bet on. But they go from anywhere from Anna Marie to Just Steel to Epic Ride to Forever Young. There's 20 of them. Okay. And the prize money. The total prize money for the Kentucky Derby is up to $5 million for the 2024 race, representing a $2 million raise from the 2023 purse. The winner will take home $3.1 million, up from $1.86 million in 2023. Second place will earn $1 million, third will earn $500,000, the fourth will earn $250,000, and the fifth will earn $150,000. Now, did you learn something? I feel so much better. Now, I'm going to tell you what we're really here about, because I know more about this than I know about the Kentucky Derby. I want to tell you about Transitional Services for New York. We have been in the race every day for the last 49 years, helping the most vulnerable of New Yorkers. Those with a serious and persistent mental illness in both residential and outpatient services. There's been a lot of people in our race over the years, both staff and those we serve, but at present there are 400 staff and 5,000 consumers that are all in the race together every day, 365 days a year. There's no prize money. There's no prize money at the end of our race, but there's something we hope that you will know once you leave us today. That the greatest prize is helping people rediscover themselves. And while our race can be challenging every day, the prize is rewarding. So when you watch the Derby on Saturday, please think about the race we run every day, and that your support here as spectators today and throughout the year makes our race that much easier as you cheer us on. It really means a lot that you're here, so thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hoofs. And now I'm going to turn it over back to Ave. Thank you.
So we have a couple of special guests here today. Assemblyman Ed Braunstein from District 26, who has been an incredible supporter for this agency and our bookstore, because his office is just a block away from our bookstore in Bayside. I have to give a little plug for Turn the Page again. So here's our Assemblyman Braunstein.
Good afternoon. Ave, I have to give it to you. Every single event, you have to come up with a creative new idea, and every time you deliver. This is a fantastic idea. And part of it's worth it just to see what Larry's going to wear. And this is the second year you're doing this at Stewart Manor? Yeah, it's always nice for me to come back to Stewart Manor. On December 1st, 2012, I got married right at this exact spot. And I was going over the schedule with my wife at dinner last night, and she, we go through it because I have 3 kids, and we got to figure out who's doing what. And she saw it. She's like, "Oh, you're going to Stewart Manor." It was an opportunity for us just to remember that special day. So it's always a pleasure to come here. I've been involved with TSI since I was first elected in 2010. I mean, I tell this story all the time. Larry, who lived in my neighborhood, reached out, and he picked me up in his car. And we drove to some of the TSI facilities. And he walked me through, and he introduced me to some of the clients. And right away, I could tell that there was something special about TSI, and Larry was special, and the whole team was special. And I want to thank all of you here, all the sponsors, everybody for donating. There's a lot of worthy groups that you could be donating your money to, but this is a special organization, and your money will give TSI the flexibility to make sure that they can go that extra mile for their clients. We at the state level have been working to try and help organizations like TSI address some of the mental health issues that we see in our community. Last year, the state committed to investing $1 billion in mental health supports. It was the largest increase in years. And then this year, among other things, there was numerous things, but one thing we did is we invested $8 million to have mental health navigators in the court system. A lot of times people, they find themselves in the criminal justice system, and what they really need is help. They don't need to go to Rikers Island, but at the same time, we need to get them treatment before we send them back out into the public. So we're going to have mental health navigators in the courts, reaching people right in the community. And another thing we did was we put put new laws in place to mandate that insurance companies actually provide the reimbursements to the providers and provide money for services so people who need the supports can get them. And thank you. But like you said, and then finally, that $1 billion that I spoke about earlier, a lot of that is for supportive housing. And we can allocate the money, right, at the state level, but it's really people like Larry and TSI who take that money and turn it into a reality. And we've seen TSI, the buildings that you're developing around Queens, to provide that necessary housing and supports for people with mental health needs. And we would be nowhere if we didn't have organizations like TSI. So once again, it's an honor to be here. It's always an honor to just come back and remember my wedding. It's always a pleasure. And I really want to thank everybody here for supporting this great organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed, so much, and I'm so happy that we're able to help you remember the good days when you got married. The next Assemblyman, David Weprin from District 24, was unable to attend today, so he sent a representative, his Director of Public Affairs, Rahman, who will say a few words for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ave. Attended a number of events by TSINY with the Assembly member. I think this might have been the first year he's broken his streak, because I do know he's attended every year. He's had to attend a wake today, but of course he chairs the insurance committee now, but for a number of years he did chair the committee with disabilities on the Assembly level. So we're always happy to support and show our continued support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we try every year to get our comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, to come. And one of these days we are going to get him, because he is a Long Islander. And he always sends his deputy of diversity and management. She's a wonderful woman who supports this agency, and she and her husband come to all of our events. And we're just so delighted that she speaks on behalf of our comptroller. And thank you. Here's Nancy.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Tom DiNapoli, our state comptroller. Yes, I am working hard in getting him in here, so we'll aim for the fall something, but he will be here one day. I keep telling him I can't continue going there and saying on behalf of you. No. So he says, I assure you I will. So we'll see. Hold him to it. But it's a great opportunity. One of the things our agency does certainly is we produce audits, but along the way we also look at different social issues and write reports on. And the latest report did state that our New Yorkers right now, due to COVID and where we are today, we have an increase of mental health issues. And it is now totaling about 3 million people, 3 million residents that have been identified with mental health issues. That's not going to decrease anytime soon. It needs attention, it needs support from all of us to support organizations like TSI, but most importantly, as far as the Assembly, the senators, all of us in government, it needs the focus of continuing, making it a priority in our funding to realize that we need, for the mental health hospitals, community hospitals, that we need increase in beds for those who need the services, which we know that was declined. The number of beds did decline numerously. And with the new budget and other talks, we know there's funding for programs and for hospitals to increase the beds, as well as services to partner with non-for-profit organizations providing the transition to home. We know that is key, that is the most important for those who are homeless, who have mental health issues, and need organizations like TSI and others to provide the training training, the care, the one-on-one. And it is because of those services that TSI has proven with great results. The little bit that they've done, which I say they have so much more to do, they have produced wonderful results, positive results, and we have wonderful testimonies from individuals who have gone through this program. So the best advice I can say is, and anyone is, please continue supporting TSI because what they do is so unique and we need more of them, and we thank them so much. Larry, thank you, Ave, and of course you do always a wonderful event, but this is all beautiful, but we know there's a mission behind it. We need to support, we need to get others involved and making them aware we're here for them and not to be afraid of mental health. All of us, in some form or another, do have moments where we suffer from it. Just some of us are more severe and, yeah, right? Okay, a little chuckle there, I don't know. Okay. But you know what I mean. And you know, one thing to keep in mind, in this report, which was really, I think we all know that the age group of 18 to 25 is at 30%. And I think we all have personal stories, so we need to focus on that. How can we help this generation do better and those that are following? So thank you. God bless you all in supporting TSI and us working together as a team. And thank you, Assemblyman, because I know you work hard.
I just thought of something I needed to tell you, and I totally, this was not part of my speech, but to Ed's and Nancy's talk about the state giving a lot of money towards supportive housing and towards buildings. We were just recently made the commitment from the State Office of Mental Health to develop a 50-bed SPSRO, single room occupancy in Jamaica, a 100-bed single room occupancy in Jamaica, a 50-bed CRSRO. The property is being looked at. One was presented to me this morning, which I totally approved. So that's 200 beds. And another 29 beds that are going to be used to get people directly off the streets of the city of New York. They're going to stay there for 120 days, and then they're going to transition into permanent housing. If we do it right, I didn't do this math right, but with the first 15, if we do it right, we'll get 60 people off the streets of the city of New York. They're coming directly from the streets into this temporary residence, and then they're going into permanent housing. We'll get 60 people placed a year, and we're going to make a dent one person at a time. I think you're right. We're making a small impact. We want to make a larger one. So thank you to the state. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
what a great agency, huh?
Thank you, Larry. Thank you all so much. So, how often do people get a second chance at life, right? Some of us get many chances. Some of us know how to get there. Some of us have a lot of support. We have love from our family, our friends. We go through ups and downs, and we go through a lot of changes. And sometimes you just don't know what to do, and you don't have that help, right? And a lot of our clients, they have a hard time at a second chance at life. But I have to just say, our staff is amazing. I have never met so many wonderful people that care and that help our clients. So I just want to just have the staff just stand up for a moment and just thank you all so much for everything that you do. Wonderful people, and even the staff that helped me today in making this happen, and you know who you are, and thank you. But all these people and so many more, almost 400 we have on staff, help people every day. And this lovely lady that I'm going to introduce you to was given a chance, a new chance at life. She has a beautiful story. She is a colleague of ours, and she's a friend to many people at the Delson, our first supported housing that we built in Jamaica, which is an amazing building thanks to our architect and builders. She's lovely. She is going to come up and share a little bit of her story and her chance at life. So I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Phyllis Weissman.
Okay, my name is Phyllis Weissman, and after struggling with multiple psychiatric diagnoses, I decided it was time to dip my foot in the workforce again after not working for many years. I was referred to turn the page again for an interview and was hired. On my first day of employment, I felt like I was given a new chance at life again. Reading and music had always been my escape to cope with my problems, so it was a natural transition for me. Ellie and Nina saw my hesitation in trying new ways of working, and those darn steps down to the basement scared the hell out of me, more than anything else. Ellie and Nina pushed me to learn all that was necessary to turn the bookstore, to run the bookstore, and never got mad or angry, and they just showed me the correct way to do things even when I had no faith in myself. The 6 months went way too quickly. Ellie and Nina suggested I apply for a part-time job at the Delson, and I was hired. I still work there, and I can say that everyone there is very supportive and treats me no different than anyone else. Miss Kimberly Sparks, director of the Delson, always has time for me, and so does the rest of the staff if I need assistance. I feel at home there, and it is coming on 6 years that I am working there. I believe having a psychiatric diagnosis helps me connect more with our clients, and that's another great thing about working at the Delson. I work the front desk, so I am accessible to everyone living at the Delson. My dreams for the future are to continue to take webinars and classes to further expand my knowledge of ways to connect with the underserved population that TSINY is dedicated to. Thank you.
So in last year, the 2023 budget, the state committed $1 billion towards mental health needs. And a lot of that is the stuff TSI works on, which is supportive housing.
Well, actually, I was impressed to hear that. And also, I'm a retired cop, and I would see a lot of individuals coming back in through the criminal justice system, coming through central booking, and you would realize that a lot of people had mental illness, and that's why it was like that open door, revolving door. So to have people in court to discover if somebody has a mental illness, and that's a real reason why they're coming back and forth in court, I think that's wonderful. Expand a little bit more about that program.
So in this year's budget, we invested $8 million to have what they call mental health navigators in the court system. So they'll be in the courts, and they'll be identifying people who have mental health issues and directing them to treatment, rather than, you're sending someone to Rikers Island where it's just not an appropriate place. And also at the same time, you recognize people need treatment, and we're not just sending them back out into the public, but we're guiding them to get the care that they need.
Definitely. And also, you brought up Queen's Day in Albany. So we'll be missing you for Queen's Day in Albany. That's one of the events that's coming up in the borough of Queens, where all of the different restaurants and community members go to Queen's Day in Albany, to the legislators, and talk to them about what they think is great about Queens. So tell our viewers why they should join us for Queens Day in Albany.
So first of all, I'm upset I'm missing it. We have a charity basketball game that would just happen to be scheduled at the same time. But Queens Day, it's when the Queens businesses and restaurants and community come up to Albany. There's a big event and everybody goes to kind of get a feel for Queens, a taste of Queens. And everybody loves it. My colleagues from around the state, the staff, everybody goes. And I can tell you this, every year Queens Day is definitely better than Brooklyn Day.
I agree. Rodney, would you agree?
Definitely agree, without a doubt. And Assembly Member, you touched a little earlier upon the fact how much this means to you having this event here, especially considering the fact that you got married here. Tell our audience a little bit about, your relationship with TSINY, and what it really means for you to kind of bring it back full circle.
So I first met Larry Grubler when I was first elected in 2010. And he lived not far from my parents' house, and I think I met him when he was walking his dog in the park. And he introduced himself to me, and he told me about TSI, and he said, look, I want to take you for a tour and show you the work that we do. So he actually picked me up in his car, and we drove to a few of the sites. We went to Jamaica, and Larry walked into the facility, and the clients knew who he was. They were, there was a special connection there. And right away, I could see how special TSI was. So since then, I've always been in contact with them and advocating for them. And like you said, it is a little special when they have the event at Stewart Manor, because about 11 years ago, my wife and I got married in the same exact spot that they had the podium, like the same exact spot. Yeah. So it just brings me back to be here.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And I know they stressed the ability to give a second chance to our community and to the individuals who've had tough paths to get in here. I mean, what does that mean to you? Like, the second chance for someone.
Well, that's their motto, right? We help people rediscover themselves. And people, what do they say? 1 in 5 people have a mental health issue at some point in their life. And it's something that you can overcome, but you need help. And TSI gives individuals that help. And you could see it with the bookstore. Turn the page again. People get employment work there. They get practice on how to get back into the workforce. And Turn the Page Again is a bookstore right down the block from my office. And I don't know about you, but we don't have a lot of brick and mortar bookstores anymore. Everybody buys anything online. And to have a bookstore on Bell Boulevard that you can go and browse and buy books, and also a bookstore that provides this important service for people rediscovering themselves, it's just a great program.
That's awesome. Second chance for the bookstores as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
So you can also donate books for the Turn the Page Again bookstore. And I want to thank you for listening to us and tuning in to Queens Public Television. Assembly Member, thank you so much for
I'll try to see you when
us.
you're up in Queens Day. I'll find you somewhere.
Find me.
Good to see you as well, always.
Oh my gosh, Nancy, thank you so much for joining us again. So we are live on Queens Public Television, QPTV.org, and this show will replay on our channels. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for that presentation.
I appreciate the opportunity. I love supporting TSI New York. I'm always here because of, it is personal for me as well. But who wouldn't want to be here at this wonderful event, the venue? But overall, there is a mission. And we can't forget that, mental health issues do matter. They exist. And we have to support all those not-for-profit out there who are trying to do a great job like TSI New York.
Definitely. And you said with the survey, there's 3 million people that were identified as a result after COVID of having some sort of issue that needed to be addressed. Can you expand on that a little bit more again?
Yeah, we at the Office of the State Comptroller, we constantly do research and reports. And of course, we're analyzing and assessing how each state agencies are doing. So in observing Department of Mental Health and Department of Health and other agencies that serve the public with mental health issues, it was discovered after COVID, how are the residents of New York doing? And it did increase. So currently, we have 22% of our population, 19 million population in New York, and 22%, which equates to 3.2 million, are suffering from mental health issues. And it's troubling. It's not going to go away. In many cases, it's not going to decrease. People are still in denial. So that's just a number we have of those who have self-identified. We know that possibly there are more. But what needs to get out is that there are services. Even though through COVID and finances, hospital beds have decreased, and many non-for-profit did minimize their service or shut down, we are aware of the importance. So now there are monies being allocated to increase hospital beds for those who need to be in a hospital setting. But most importantly, money to help the non-for-profit to provide the services in the community, like TSI New York. And that's what we need to see and support. And we tell everyone, please support your legislators who are behind this, but most importantly, support the organization who are actually out there doing the work and making it happen in a positive way for these individuals.
Definitely, resources is the answer.
Yes, absolutely. We need to realize every support, even volunteering helps. Many people think it's always about money. Yes, we need funding. And I say we, I'm speaking as if, I work for the agency. I don't, but I see the results. And the only way to help one another is to be there. Volunteer services if you can. Come to these events. And you don't have to come to the event. Just go on their website and see what it's all about, and just be supportive for those who are homeless, as well as suffering from mental health issues.
So I have to go to the giddy up. Everybody, the way they're dressed. Get it? The giddy up, okay? Now, my co-host here, you look very spiffy, Rodney.
Listen, I was trying to do my best to match Nancy's Kentucky Derby blue. You see this?
I'm looking at Nancy, I'm looking at you, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys looking sick, you look gorgeous. Her husband's over there, but her husband's up on the front table, so be careful there.
Be careful.
I'll be there.
No, thank you so much. I mean, one thing, Ave, she is fabulous. She organizes, she finds these things. She's a wonderful, organizer of these events. And so she makes it fun for people to attend. The Derby, Saratoga, it's all about horse racing and all, but at the end, it's really just get together to have some fun, but support the need that's needed here. So,
thank you. We're off to the horse races right now. We're off. We're off. Back to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That was special to everyone in the room, and also our viewers. We are live on Queens Public Television. Talk about that first encounter that you had with TSINY and how receiving they were of you.
Well, it was when I went for the interview, and it was a cold interview with Nina and Ellie, and I had worked for many years, having suffered really a nervous breakdown, and I just had decided I wanted to maybe go work again, so I had a resume, and I loved work, I loved reading and listening to music, so it was recommended, and I was hired right away, and I was so shocked, and so I went to work at the bookstore, and I thrived there. I was given opportunities right away to open and close the bookstore, to manage it right away, and it was just unbelievable. And at that time, you could work 6 months at the bookstore. So after the 6 months, they said there was an opportunity at the Zelson to work the front desk, and they really advocated for me. And I went there and was hired right away on the first interview, and I was like, I was just so like, this can't be happening to me. And Kim, I must say, Kimberly Sparks, who I was a little hesitant, but she was always there for me, and she never yelled at me, or if I didn't understand something on the computer, she just was so empathetic and has had such empathy for me. And also the other staff at the front desk, everybody there didn't laugh or giggle or, say, oh, you can't do this, look at your age, very supportive. And so now I'm thriving there. I help other people who come in, and it's just a wonderful working environment in the whole company of Transitional Services. Everybody helps everybody. And I wouldn't be there at the Dells in 6 years if it wasn't that kind of working environment.
Well, I have to say, it's inspiring for other people to see you working there. So I'm so happy that they identified you and said, you know what, I'm going to give her this opportunity, and you grasped at it, you took it, and you ran with the ball, and you're there six years. That shows longevity. That shows stability. And you have to tell people about the Delson, because we were there for the groundbreaking. It's a beautiful new building that's only been up for, maybe 6-7 years, right?
Yes.
It's only been 6-7 years, and it's beautiful. It's mixed-use building. Talk about the Delson.
The Delson is for people with mental illness and developmental issues. I also have several psychiatric, issues. I see my psychiatrist. I see a therapist. I'm on several psychiatric medications. They know this, and nobody cares, you know what I mean? And many times a client will come and just want to talk to me at the front desk. I will talk to them and say, you will get through this, and it will be fine. If they need other help, I will make sure that their therapist knows about it, shoot off an email or whatever, or call them or let them know. So everybody works with everybody. So no client is left behind if something's going on.
And Phyllis, what would you tell some of our viewers who, might feel lost and may not know how to get to organizations like TSI? What would you tell them to influence them and to motivate them that there's still a possibility for them as well?
There's always a possibility for help. Look at me. I was 50-something when I reached out. And I'm working and I'm thriving, and I didn't ever think that I would be back where I am now.
So I have to say, you look beautiful. As I said, she looks marvelous. How do you like this theme, the Kentucky Derby?
I love it because when my father was alive, we didn't do it. We always did the trifecta, in our head. So I got to see who's running in the Kentucky Derby and pick a horse.
Okay.
Should be a nice event.
Sounds good. Thank you, Phyllis, and thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
So much.
Look who we have here. It's a Larry Gruber. He's entering the race. Get over here, Larry Gruber.
So good to see you.
Ron, nice to see you.
Larry, nice to see you, man. How's it going?
I'm great.
Always.
Right.
Let's go.
We're off to the race.
We're off to the race.
That's right.
Now, Larry, last time we saw you was for TSINY's The Greatest Show on Earth, and now the Kentucky Derby. Who knew?
I know. And I always have to figure out what I'm going to wear and how it's going to look, and everybody's having a good time, and that's what it's all about.
Okay.
I'm excited.
And we're going to make sure that you see the whole getup.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a whole
when you
outfit.
leave,
It's
the
a good
whole getup.
It's a good outfit, as always.
So, Larry, talk about your mission and your vision.
So our mission is to serve anybody over the age of 18 who has a psychiatric disability, and we provide both residential and outpatient services. It's, as you know, and they talked about it today, and I know that you have it on film, there's a lot of people that need mental health services. We're serving people that really are seriously and persistently mentally ill. And I'm really excited because while we've grown tremendously over the last 17 years, I just talked about the projects that we're going to develop over the next couple of years.
Awesome.
And it's a lot of beds, and I was teasing my family. I told my daughter after I got the first award, and I said, I'm going to retire retire in 2080. And she didn't do the math, right? So she thought I was serious. And I said, well, Mallory, we just got this award. We got this award. I'm going to be busy till, she said, you'll be 130 or 40 years old. What are you doing? But anyway, there are a lot of people that need to be served, and the staff are wonderful, helping us move this forward. We're going to get more staff so that we can help move this forward. But I'm very excited about what we're able to accomplish.
So, not for anything, Assemblymember Ed Braunstein, $1 billion going towards mental illness. This must have been like music to your ears.
It's never happened in my career. I mean, it just is not. We're very lucky. We have a governor that understands. We have people like Ed Braunstein and Nancy Hernandez. They get it. And they're putting their money because they realize it's our money, it's taxpayer money, but they're putting it into where the services are needed. And I'm very excited about that. I've been doing this for 42 years. So I started when I was 2. You're supposed to say that. But I
was just like his daughter. That went right over there. Like, wait a minute.
42
am I
years.
doing the math right? Am I doing the math right?
This has never happened. So how do you respond? You have to get your team to figure out, okay, where do you want to go? What kind of services do you want to provide? And we're going to provide the housing services. We're going to try to get people off the streets and put them into permanent housing.
Okay, talk also about some of the other programs that you have. You have an art exhibit, an art workshop, and mental health, and dealing with art and music sometimes. And you do a lot of different sort of cultural events.
I don't often talk about them, but keep in mind that all of our outpatient programs support people in their recovery. So we have counseling and crisis services. We have mobile outreach services. We have education and training and resources. We help people get back out to work through our bookstore. We have a pros program where people can go to day program. All of those pieces are really important for the people's rehabilitation. Art therapy is not something that's really funded in the state of New York, but we are raising private funds to bring it into people's homes so that they can gain a sense of self-worth. Now, imagine that you are homeless, living on the streets, and then all of a sudden, not only do you have a home, but you get exposed to things that you were never exposed to before. And one of those things is art. And I'm hearing from the clients how important it is. That's why we're going to continue with that program. It's important to them. They're gaining a sense of respect. Some of them are even selling their artwork. So it's important all the way around.
And it's always amazing. I mean, as Roz mentioned, we always love doing TSI events because you guys put on a great show all the time. Well, the greatest show last time, Kentucky Derby this time. I mean, and it's always a great celebration, but it just means so much.
TV has been wonderful to us. We love working with you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. So it's all good.
So we are still streaming live too.
Yep.
We're streaming live on Queens Public Television. You know what? Not for anything. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this brief message.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
You have to tell us first, thank you for joining us, and you have to tell us how you got involved with TSINY. When did you discover this organization?
Oh man, so we were introduced from a mutual colleague of ours, Ed Probst, who's involved with TSINY, and we reached out and we've been talking with Ave, and she invited us here today. We're going to be going on a tour soon to learn more about the organization. We're representative of Jovia Financial Credit Union. We're very involved in the Long Island community, Queens, and Brooklyn, and we're looking to form a partnership with them, sponsor their programs, really get involved, give back, roll up our sleeves, because that's really what we're about as an organization. So looking to really continue to grow this relationship.
Very nice. Rodney?
What attracted you most to TSI and the initiatives that they're working on?
You know, me personally, I think that it's just very evident that there's a continually growing challenge with mental health in our country, and an organization that's willing to put so many resources forth and really give people a chance, recognize that a lot of people can be helped, they can be rehabilitated, they can be put back into the workforce. That's what really drew me to the organization.
That's awesome. And, I mean, obviously that they do all of these amazing events that help celebrate their initiatives. What else can a community do to help support organizations like them and all the great work that Jovia is sponsoring?
I think it's really about education. I think having as many events as possible that not only celebrates the organization as a whole, but can educate businesses and the community about mental health, ways that they can be involved, ways that they can educate themselves, and how they can give back to the community, and how people who may have mental health challenges, have a second chance, have a third chance.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah,
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Now we're with Dice Garcia. We cannot make this up. We're at the Kentucky Derby for TSINY, and we're with Miss
Dice Garcia.
Dice Garcia. First of all, you look absolutely fabulous.
Decked out for the Kentucky Derby.
Beautiful
This is
hat.
great. Good.
Ready?
Yes.
Tell us when you first met Ave and Larry.
I met Ave and Larry last year in about February, and believe it or not, their office was 1 block from my house. I used to drive by that building with no sign on and go, what's going on in that building? And that was there for 5 years. And all of a sudden, one day, Chamber of Commerce contacted us and said, please contact these people at TSI. And it was 1 block away from my house. How much more convenient could that be?
That's like Kismet.
That was Kismet.
And what attracted you most about what TSI does as far as
well, listen, they help people, they give to the community, they're involved, they're sweet people, and when we found out that we were brought in, we would do anything to help and make it better, and we believe in what they do.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, what will we take back from today's event?
I take back a bunch of great people having a great afternoon, and everybody having the same goal in mind to grow the organization and to help people. And I see these people occasionally at other events. They're wonderful people, and the TSI organization are really committed and good people.
So what horse are you betting on?
My husband. He's the horse.
That sounds good. Her husband's right over there.
That pink one, the pink horse.
The handsome chap over there. Come on, the handsome chap over here. Okay, we're going to have to check him out.
Hey.
All right.
Ralph, looking sharp. Ralph, looking good, man. Rodney Cummings, nice to meet you.
Robbie?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. And you?
Roz.
Roz?
Roz. So
you've been occupying your time.
And she just shouted you out, so we had to drag you in here.
You're the horse I'm betting on.
I asked her, what horse are you betting on for the Kentucky Derby? And she said her husband.
She said she had a thoroughbred. So
So what did you think about today's event? I see you all spiffy and you're all dressed up.
Good, man. That's a good
Derby.
pick.
Look, and with a wife with the name Dice, you better be dressed right.
It's a great event. Very nice. Second time we've been here, following up, and we support them as much as we can.
Thank you.
Look forward to the next one.
Well, we need community input, and we have it right here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Take care, brother.
So we're with Peter and Joel, and both are with TSINY, one's a board member, and TSI Cares. And you're brand new. What made you join TSI's Cares program?
Well, I actually knew Larry Grubler, the CEO, before I knew what TSI was about. And we shared a mutual client, and he invited me to something. I came, and I was overwhelmed about what they do, and I could not be participating in this.
Excellent. And Joel, I know that you've been with TSINY as a board member for 4 years. How's it been? Why'd you come in? And what do you think of it now?
How do I met, like Peter, I met Larry socially first. He asked me to come down to a meeting. At one point, he was trying to get me to be the treasurer of the board, but I couldn't do that because it's a conflict of interest. So I agreed to serve on his board, and I've been there for 4 years. It's one of the best boards that I'm on, and everybody's so friendly. It's an extended family, and it's a great organization to be part of.
What do you think about the $1 billion that's being thrown for the community to help with mental illness and transitioning people?
It should be more. The $1 billion is far too little. It's a drop in the bucket, but not enough.
What do you think about today's Kentucky Derby? Everybody came dressed very dapper. Love your blue and your green and your colors.
I just want to know who's going to win on Saturday. If you tell me that, I'll be very happy.
Oh, you can bet it now too.
No, yeah, let me know. I need tomorrow. I need Sunday's newspaper.
Oh, you want to go to the future? So like Back to the Future real quick. Well, I mean, TSI always does like all of these amazing events, and it's great to get a chance to speak to amazing people who are part of the organization. Just give us a little bit more about like how important it is to have organizations like TSI and what it means for them to give back to the community the way they do.
You know what? I think that probably one of the most important, critical part of the events is awareness. No matter how much money we get, we're still fighting a stigma in this country, and awareness is critical, crucial.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Well, listen, we're going to go to a break, but you stay there on Queens Public Television. I'm Rosalie Evans.
And I'm Rodney Cummins.
But I really want to thank everybody for their support, QPTV, all of our supporters here. We are in a race to make things better, and I'm 100% sure we're going to win.
Thank you. I agree.
And likewise.
Well, that's it for today's show. I'm Rosalie Evans.
And I'm Rodney Cummins.
And we'll see you next time on Queens Public Television. Take care.
As Queens Public Television airs programs made for, by, and about you. Watch QPTV as we re-cablecast programs that uplift the community.
I think there's this idea of what we need to be as successful women and gender non-binary people in this world. I think there's a certain respectability politics, things you need to wear, things you need to say, whatever you need to look like. And I struggled with that in journalism a lot. I really, dreamt of the day as a young journalist that I could show up to work in a short dress and my chanclas and like whatever, and do my job and be great at it and feel sexy and feel like myself, right? And I feel like we're evolving to the point where I made it a point to wear a short dress today. I feel like I feel very safe in here, so thank you for that. I love being in a room full of women, etc., and talking about how great women are. But I feel like the evolution is happening. We can be more of ourselves, whether it's wearing something or speaking another language to a coworker, or just being more comfortable in our own skin at work. And I just want more of that for all of us. I think it's something I want us all to be more intentional, like bring more of ourselves to work. I think you should just shoot your shot in the most direct way. I met all of my women mentors by just emailing them and being like, one of them she's like famous a little bit, her name's Linda Villarosa. She's an amazing health journalist and editor and head of the journalism department at, what's the college in Harlem? I teach there. TSINY, yes. I'm faculty there. Okay. She's absolutely amazing, and I just kind of like lusted after her being my mentor, and one day I just emailed her and was like, I love you, you're incredible, you have done A, B, and C that I would like to, just scratch the surface of one day. Can I take you out to coffee in Brooklyn, near where you live, so I'm not putting you out? And she said yes to me. She said yes. And, she probably Googled me to make sure I wasn't crazy. And then she met with me in a coffee shop, and I bought her a $5 coffee, and she sat with me for an hour and a half, told me about her career and her life. And I have, been in touch with her, and she's been incredibly helpful to me. I've been helpful to her. And I think I am more brave in those kind of relationships than I am in my romantic relationships. So I just want you guys shoot your shot when you're trying to get some. Shoot your shot when you're trying to get a mentor. They might write back, even if they're kind of famous.
I love that. Yeah. Look, you open your mouth, take the chance, make it happen.
I think for me, because my first full-time jobs, even knowing really young at a director level, there's this difference between vocalizing what you have to say, but actually making sure you're being heard. And I really emphasize that making sure things I'm saying are being heard. And I think understanding that what I'm saying, there's a lot of value, and making sure that I'm holding people accountable as well. So I think that's one. And then I think also building confidence I do think with time too, you naturally develop more wisdom and insight into your industry. And that is a natural way of boosting confidence. And I would say I'm so thankful truly for all the women mentors that I have, and just the support group that I have. Because, I think just being an entrepreneur sometimes it's such an isolating, lonely journey. Especially I started my business during COVID, good old Zoom era. So I really didn't have anyone to talk to, and I started just reaching out to women around me and making me feel like a sense of just community. And naturally you're like, okay, I have an empire of amazing warriors behind me. Now there's nothing to lose. I'm all in.
I love it.
It's important to have, your mentors, people that you trust, and a really great team that is a part of your company that speaks the same ethos, have the same DNA and all that. I also think it's really important to build community. Build a community that trusts you as the voice, and vice versa. You trust them to come back with feedback, and then you can start with a small group, and then it can build from there. Because I think community is the key to bring everybody together and bring a vision to life.
I think you're right. Community is the key.